Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling Review Series for the 17th of July, 2000, or not 2000, 1982. Jack Briscoe comes out basically apologizing for losing the title to Piper. Also, kind of says he will avenge the loss to Piper eventually. Uh, very basic babyface promo, wants revenge, and all of that. Then we move into the first tag team match of the day, which happens to be Renslow and Dalton versus Valiant and Roberts. Jake Roberts back in the area, teaming up with the Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant. Valiant continues to do battle with returning to the area. Continues to do battle over the next several weeks with the uh, Ivan Bear or the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff. Ivan Bear? No, not quite. Anyway, Jake Roberts still lean, coming in and working with uh, Jimmy Valiant. Punches, kicks, basic stuff. Roberts back after probably a tour of Georgia or some other territory at the time instead of the Carolinas. But anyway, tackles, and Roberts actually tries to drag his man back to the corner. Valiant comes back in and they do some double teaming maneuvers, really basic stuff. Jimmy Valiant at this point obviously not doing anything more than a punch kick style, but obviously they get a victory, including a Jake Roberts knee lift, and Roberts looks to be in pretty awesome shape going forward here. Tag team matches are, I wouldn't say the entire fare of the day, but Davis and Porkchop Cash versus Nelson and Kernoodle is there as the next in series of matches. And again, Porkchop Cash returning a little bit after a while. Um, Kernoodle and Nelson, still the privates of Slaughter. They are, once again, your Mid Atlantic Tag Team Champions. They basically break down the matches as much as they can. Kernoodle does a bit more brawling with Porkchop Cash. Cash had been here for a little bit before. Back elbows, basic stuff. Nothing necessarily worth writing home about, but at the same time, the aggression is there, the assertion is there. Nelson not willing to take any major backward steps, and again, we get things going in that general direction. Hard shots by the multi-time tag team champions. So basically, small rosters lead to multi-time championships eventually, though the cheating ways allow for a victory for the team of Kernoodle and Slaughter. Basically, uh, both of the privates say that the discipline of Sergeant Slaughter is the reason they're yet again the Mid Atlantic Tag Team Champions, and that goes there. There's a filler match here, weird six-man tag team filler match, as it were. Matt Bourne, Ivan Koloff, and Sergeant Slaughter against Abe Jacobson, Ron Ritchie, and Iceman King Parsons. I say it's a weird match because it really just feels like something to fill time. Slaughter gets a takedown on Ritchie. Ritchie has had a couple of victories on Mid Atlantic TV, but primarily used as an enhancement talent. Slaughter takes the first few minutes, which as the U.S. champion makes sense for him to get some highlight. The returning Ivan Koloff does a bit of brawling before they cut the ring off, and Iceman King Parsons gets a couple of shots in on Koloff. Don't know if that will eventually become a feud, but I could see them doing that because um, the Jimmy Valiant and Koloff feud can't last forever. Anyway, big backdrop along the way there, and doesn't get everything he wants, but does get enough, as it were. Hard shots there, and ultimately a cutoff, and back into the other opposite corner there. Hard shots by Koloff, and Koloff manages to allow the continuation of the cutoff of the ring. Koloff comes in and does a bit more brawling. He actually goes under the tutelage in the next couple of weeks of Sir Oliver Humperdinck, among others. That's a pretty major thing at this time. But Slaughter comes up with a big clothesline and gets a victory for his team. Then we see Humperdinck doing what seems to be a local area promo, promising a Russian chain match and more matches Russian Bear Ivan Koloff wearing headgear, talking about the Mid Atlantic area and the television championship that I guess he has regained somewhere along the way. Humperdinck has the House of Humperdinck where he's formulating relationships with people. We then go to another tag team match. So this is the tag team week. I knew there was a tag team week in here somewhere. Steamboat and Youngblood versus Bill White and the Monk. Monk, a relatively new guy, but not exactly a guy that's going to be lit up. But Steamboat and Youngblood were here last week and have been a regular team during our 6 or 8 months of this run. Steamboat kind of takes the early start of the match. The Monk, pretty large guy for his size. Bill White we've seen before. Steamboat trying to get arm drags and basic stuff down on the Monk here, and the White not exactly getting what he wants out of it. Back elbows and some basic stuff. Monk takes control. White has some power maneuvers and gets Steamboat upside down almost as a trio woe type maneuver in the corner. Steamboat takes the majority of the punishment in the match, which is kind of interesting because, at one point he was seen as a major babyface in the area. Eventually the tag goes off to Jay Youngblood, and that eventually leads to a victory. There is a, and I've, Bill White and Dan Peterson match here that comes up, and that is with none other than, Alexander and Patterson versus Wahoo and Briscoe. Wahoo and Briscoe, relatively new individuals as a team, although they have teamed before. But Jack Briscoe getting back into tag team just to maybe test himself, I don't really know. But the match is happy for the fans. Also, we do see some previous a highlight package of a Morocco and Piper tag team match, squash match. Steamboat promises it doesn't matter about the money that he lost supporting Jack Briscoe. He's happy to have done it, and Anderson or Alexander and his partner, basically the Wahoo and Briscoe match turned into, at different points, a chop fest. Briscoe tries to keep the match more on the mat. Wahoo tries to keep it more standing. Obviously, the enhancement talents take a fall to Wahoo and friends. Big chops and basic maneuvers here. And again, we see the promise that Briscoe says he's going to get the money back from Roddy Piper and take it out on his hide if he can't get the money back. And we will close with that on that note. We'll be back with more right after this.